Hey guys, welcome to the Massive Iron Channel. I'm Steve Shaw. In this video, I'm going to talk about BMI and its impact or how it changes for a muscle head as they pack on muscle mass over time. I got some nice charts up here. I'm going to talk about rate of muscle gains, how your BMI is going to change over the first 4 to 5 years of lifting. And this goes for power builders, bodybuilders, or even power lifters that are looking to pack on mass. We're just going to go talk about a general overview. We're going to discuss whether it's healthy, whether it's dangerous to put on muscle mass because it's raising your BMI, etc. Before I get into that topic, if you have any questions or comments, check out the link below. Come on over, submit your questions. The best questions I turn into videos like this. I'm sick as a dog, so if I can't breathe right, you'll have to excuse me. All right, BMI. BMI is body mass index. It's basically your weight or height, or a ratio comparing your height to weight. It's real simple. Basically, you can go on to calculator, any calculator online. We have one on Tiger Fitness. Plug in your height, weight. It'll go through this formula and calculate your body mass index. Now, here's the general chart. There's a chart online for men and women. You can find that as well. That has a little bit different range, but this is a good general starting point. We have your BMI range and status, or what you're considered to be. Now, a body mass index under 18.5 is considered underweight. You're skinny, you're underweight, you need to eat, it's not healthy. 18.5 to 24.9 is considered a normal or healthy BMI. 25 to 29.9 is considered overweight, and 30 plus is considered obese. So one thing before we talk about the impact or the changes that lifters go through, and we're going to be addressing men in this video. I don't have time to do women because we really don't know about the rate of muscle gain for women, but I'll speculate and I'll give you a little bit of information here shortly. But as far as body mass index, there's a lot of controversy whether it is a useful tool, and I want to address that first. There is a lot of research on body mass index and its impact on longevity. One thing we have found, and this is a little bit revealing, and you can find these studies online. I don't have them handy, and I'm not going to link them below, but as an editor, I've come across these studies many times, referenced many times in many articles on the body mass index. And that is, when you are slightly overweight, you tend to live longer. Let that sink in for a minute. A lot of these statistics, a lot of the research shows that slightly overweight individuals, as far as the body mass index, BMI, tend to live longer than normal folks. So if you have a little bit more calorie intake, you're running on a little bit more calories, you're just slightly overweight compared to just a normal weight, people tend to live a little bit longer. Now, we can speculate as to why this is. Maybe the body just runs a little bit more efficiently when it's just in a slight calorie excess, and we're talking very slight, as opposed to running on just the bare minimum calories to survive. But in any case, a lot of the scientific research shows that if you're slightly overweight, that you tend to live longer. Now, obviously, there's a lot of other health factors involved. What you eat, if you smoke, if you drink, all that other kind of stuff. So that's just a general rule. And I'm not saying it's a carved in stone rule, but it's something you should just keep in mind, and something we can keep in mind as we look at the chart for building muscle. Now, we're going to look at a male 5'10" that starts at 170 pounds and 15% body fat. We're just going to start in this range because it'll give us a good snapshot or a good reference point for what happens as you build muscle and how your BMI changes. Now, in general, Dr. Casey Butt has done a lot of research on the rate of muscle mass gain, and this is just a general guideline, but it's pretty accurate. So, a lifter, a male during their first year of lifting, tends, if they do everything optimally, tends to put on about 16 pounds of muscle mass. The second year, 8, the third year, 4, and the fourth year, 2, and it continues to go down by about half each year. So basically, the more you gain, the less you have to gain, and each year you can gain about half of what you could the previous year. So for this example, we're going to assume we have a lifter on a bulk. That lifter is gaining this rate of muscle mass plus about 25% fat. So they're eating in a little bit of a calorie excess, gaining a little bit of a little bit amount of fat as they bulk. The first year lifter who puts on 16 pounds of mass is going to gain 4 pounds of fat. The second year lifter who gains 8 pounds of muscle is going to put on 2 pounds of fat. The third year lifter who gains 4 pounds of muscle is going to put on 1 pound of fat, etc. So we're just running in a slight calorie excess, not a super aggressive bulk, but we're not worried about adding a little bit of fat. So we're going to take a complete look at this lifter who's 5'10", 170, and 15% body fat. What happens in this bulk stage, how much fat, how it changes their body fat percentage, how it changes their BMI, and if they're close to dangerous or unhealthy levels. Is building muscle mass going to make you unhealthy? Is it going to reduce your chances for longevity? Is it going to increase your chance for longevity, etc.? So this lifter starts at 170 pounds. Their lean body mass is 144 pounds. Lean body mass is your weight minus all the fat. All the fat. Everything that's left. Your brains, your bone, your penis weight, your toenail weight, all that kind of good stuff. This lifter's body fat percentage is 15 and their BMI is 24. 24 is normal. It is on the high end of normal, but it is still considered normal. It's probably a really healthy weight, considered that the slightly overweight individual tends to live a little bit longer. Now, as this lifter puts on 16 pounds of muscle and 4 pounds of fat during the first year of lifting, their lean body mass, their body weight jumps up to 190, their lean body mass up to 160, and their body fat percentage only goes up a little bit, but their BMI jumps to 27, which is considered overweight. So for an average individual like you, or anybody that's hitting the gym, any male, if they are doing things correctly and they are at a reasonable body fat to start, they're going to be obese, considered obese by BMI standards, after the first year. Now, I'm not passing judgment on the BMI standards in this video. I'm just presenting you guys with information, so I want that to be understood. So the second year of lifting, the lifter is going to pack on 8 pounds of muscle and 2 pounds of fat. Their body weight's up to 200. Their lean body mass is up to 168. Their body fat percentage is still pretty good. It's only about 16%. And their body mass index is up to 29. So they're approaching obese. They're not just overweight. They're approaching obese. And that's pushing it as far as longevity if you look at the general statistics for the general population. Now, all things considered, if you compare this 30-pound difference and there's only 1% difference in body fat percentage, this person is going to look so much better, even though the body fat percentage is about the same or slightly greater. Because if you take two individuals and they're at the same body fat percentage, but one individual has a lot more muscle mass, they're going to look a lot better. They're going to look a lot better because their frame with more muscle mass will simply look more appealing. They won't look skinny fat, they'll look muscular. They start to tend to look a little bit more like that pro wrestler look, where they aren't super lean, but you could tell they look like they work out. So in any case, third year of lifting, the lifter gains 4 pounds of muscle and 1 pound of fat. So they're up to 205 pounds of weight, 172 pounds of lean body mass. Body fat percentage is still only 16.1%. BMI stays about the same at 29. We move on to the fourth year. They gain 2 pounds of muscle and about a half pound of fat. They're up to about, and I rounded here, they're up to 208 body weight, 174 lean body mass, 16.2 or 3% body fat, and 29.8 BMI, which is at the high end of overweight. And at this point, considering a lifter's only going to gain a slight, very trivial, a couple pounds of muscle for the rest of their life, they're really only going to be kind of in that borderline between overweight and obese. So they're never really going to, they're going to be at that borderline. They could be just a hair into the obese range or just a hair under in the overweight range. So that's about it for a natural lifter. That's getting close to your natural body weight potential. That's about as much muscle mass as you're going to build over the course of your life. Again, you're going to gain a couple more pounds, but that is about it. So the question is is this unhealthy? Is this unhealthy? Well, if we analyze the current information that we have that tells us that overweight individuals tend to live longer, this by itself, even if this individual didn't have muscle mass, there's a good chance that this would still be considered a healthy weight. And if this person was active, they would have a good chance of living longer than just the normal body weight individual. Now, if you combine that with the fact that our lifter is involved in healthy activities, they are lifting weights, they are very active, they've been active for 4 to 5 years, they're maintaining a reasonable body fat percentage, they're probably eating reasonably good. If you combine this information with what we know about body mass index, it tells us that our lifter is probably extremely healthy and going to live, there's a good chance they're going to live longer than the average individual. And a lot of this is just common sense, but we still have to analyze it, based on what we understand about science and longevity, etc. So really the real danger from what I have explored during my writings on obesity comes at the age of 50, when you are over 240 pounds or 250 pounds. At that stage of your life, your human growth hormone levels have decreased a little bit. And regardless of muscle mass or fat, the body still has a lot of weight to maintain. So we don't have a complete scientific picture of the impact of carrying around 240, 250 pounds at the age of 50 and what it does for longevity. But we know in general, from looking at obesity statistics or mortality statistics, that once you reach the age of 50, when you're over 240, 250 pounds, your chances of living each year decrease dramatically. So it's safer to stay under 240 as we age, as you approach age 50. Probably best to stay at 210, 215 and under. So our lifter, with all those pieces of the puzzle put together, our lifter's in a very safe spot. They have very healthy activities. They work out, they stay active, they're eating relatively good. They're at a good body weight compared to the BMI index, even though they're listed as overweight. Again, the BMI statistics show that overweight individuals tend to live a little bit longer. So all these pieces of the puzzle, all good for the natural lifter. All good for the natural lifter. When you move on to the testosterone replacement therapy and the enhanced lifter, who can gain like 10 to 15 more pounds of muscle mass or whatever, they're still relatively safe if they're going to be up around 220 pounds. So they're still in a pretty safe zone. So for the older gentleman that's looking at getting on TRT and adding 5 to 10 pounds of muscle, and they've already have quite a bit of muscle mass, they're pretty safe. Now for women, we don't have a good analysis of this. There's not a lot of statistics on the rate of muscle gain. I like to tell women it's about a third, just in general, and that's a general rule. So if they're gaining 5 to 6 pounds of muscle mass the first year and going half each subsequent year, the BMI index is going to be about the same. The impact is just going to be trivial, and it'll be about the same for women. So if a woman starts at a reasonable body fat percentage, it's all good as far as longevity. Once you get above 15% body fat percentage and you start to get to 20 to 25% as you age, then you're going to push your weight up, and it's going to start pushing it to the danger zone if you are a lifter. If you're a non-lifter, obviously you don't have the best eating habits, you're not active, and that's going to be that much more dangerous. So if you're a lifter, you're probably best at staying around 15% body fat percentage for a male, 18 to 20 for a female, and going no greater than that. Stay active, eat healthy, you'll live a long, healthy life. So guys, hope this video has been of some help. If you have any questions or comments, check out the link below. If you've made it this far in this video and have yet to subscribe to my channel, please do. I'd appreciate the support. So guys, as always, thanks for watching. Have a great day.